Good morning, good evening, good night. The end is near. We rejoice despite. This is the unassuming bravado of brave knights. Of sleep and virtue I know well and speak. To follow my advice is wise indeed. Work hard so you may obtain life's treat. Awake so you may obtain good sleep. Well, my friend, they say life is a journey, not a destination. What I wanted to talk about is the belief that I had for a very long time. Say the aim or the goal that I had pursued for the longest time. You see, when I was around, say 19, 20-ish, I found a mentor. And with this mentor, I tried to understand the greater meaning of things, life, the world, how it works, what I'm supposed to do in it, what am I pursuing, what should I be pursuing, the right way of living, etc. You know, I was always a student of philosophy, I guess. He asked me once, what do I think the nature of the species is, human species? And after thinking about the issue, I came to the conclusion that the nature of the species is laziness. Why? Because the way I saw it, everything that we do, we've done, every creation, every invention was to make life easier. Think about it. Clothing, to make life easier so you can fight off the cold weather or cover yourself up against the heat. Housing, agriculture, you name it, the wheel, the fire, any of these inventions, any of the million inventions that we come up with from ancient time till cell phones, TV, cameras, all in all is to make life easier, to make a task easier. And if you don't believe me, you can also think of it like this. When looking at species, any organism, it is imprinted in the organism to exert least amount of energy. You see, you have to consume so you have energy to complete some necessary tasks. Forget about all the unnecessary things that we do as humans, but the necessary task of, I don't know, going out, hunting, getting some food, filling your belly, and then finding a good, safe spot to rest. All these tasks, the necessary tasks, you want to do them and procreate, of course, and you want to do them with exerting least amount of energy. This is not me saying, this is science. We know this for a fact. So anyhow, my conclusion, which was very correct, I would say, was that laziness was the nature of the species. And as I grew older and wiser, I saw that there is a lot of activities which we are doing, like mental, psychological, social interactions of sort, which are not in the physical realm, which we could then say we do to make easier. But even in that sense, I came to the conclusion, whatever we do for some sort of tranquility, which is the mental aspect of the ease and quality of life that we are seeking in the physical world. In a nutshell, this was my pursuit, to obtain a life in which I could be at ease the most, exert the least amount of energy and have fun and do whatever I deem to be nice. course, for the longest time, that was not possible. You know, the situation of my life and having to do a lot to just get by. But when the pandemic hit, and you know, when we had to stay at home and the government was giving us a little bit more money, and all in all, the situation was so that I could obtain a life where it was absolute ease. Of course, I had to lower my standards or my expectations a bit, but I was good with that. And so I tried that. And of course, I became extremely depressed. And in conclusion, I came to understand that there is a paradox in the nature of the species. We are trying to exert the least amount of energy to a point. Try to understand. Once upon a time, where we were living in a different type of world, where we didn't have all the amenities that we have now, and all the machines and the computers and, you know, all the things that we have now that make life this much easier, being able to do a task where you could exert a little bit less energy was a gain. But we have reached a point where we are exerting so little amount of energy to get through the day, to do the necessary tasks that we have in a day, that doing less is bad for us. The scale has tipped, if you understand what I mean. There is an amount of exertion that the body, the organism needs, and if it doesn't do that, it's as if it's dying, especially mentally. Physically, we see it, everything deteriorates because you are not using it. The body I'm talking about, the physics of the organism. But mentally, you crash, you become depressed, anxious, you don't know what to do with yourself. The easiest things become difficult. Anyhow, my conclusion, the paradox. And the paradox is there is an amount of activity and exertion that I need, I must have. Otherwise, I will crash. And once I understood that, and once I started implementing that, everything changed. Now, I had heard a lot about how life is to suffer, or other sayings of this sort. I never understood them. Today, I understand them much better. Life is to suffer. Now, depending on how you hear this sentence, it may not make sense, or it may make all the sense in the world. Because it doesn't mean to suffer in a bad way, but to do difficult tasks. Life is the journey, not the destination. Life is the effort, not the achievement. The destination and the achievement is just that short period of time, and then you must pick another destination and on the journey goes. If you notice, we are always coming up with questions, and as soon as we reach the answer, we pick another question. We are picking goals, and then we put in effort to reach the goal, and as soon as we reach the goal, we choose another goal. Because we need the effort, we need the journey, we need the exertion. Now, you may listen to this and say, duh. But for me, it was actually a aha moment, because I thought the exact opposite. If you have ever read Nietzsche's Thus Spoke Zarathustra, there is a chapter where Zarathustra goes to see this sage that talks about sleeping. The sage explains that life is about achieving good sleep. But to achieve good sleep, you must do 10 tasks every day, difficult tasks. And you must find 10 things to be grateful for. You must do 10 things of this sort and 10 things of that sort. All these things will help you, come the end of the day, have great sleep. This is actually very accurate of what I understand of how I want to live my life now. Of course, I have some goals set that I want to achieve, and it's great to have those goals. It gives you inspiration and motivation to move. But it is actually the path, the journey, the effort, the everyday struggle, steps that you take towards the goal that is the finer meaning of life, that makes life worth living. And that in itself has been a revelation for me. It has made the struggles of life much more easier to accept, to deal with, and to navigate. I guess what I'm trying to say is this is my new perspective. This is my new walk of life. And I'm very excited about it. It has been great till now, and I hope that it will be greater as I go along. But I would like to hear your opinion as well. Have you ever had the misconception or misunderstanding that I had? Is the concept life is a struggle an obvious thing for you, or anything else you want to add? Put it in the comment, shallow or deep. Remember, awake so you can obtain good sleep.